Most F-150 owners drive for years without realizing their truck is hiding features that save time, prevent expensive repairs, and make everyday driving easier. These are the tricks you only learn after living with the truck long enough to notice the details Ford tucked away. And as you'll see, the last one is the most important, because it can literally upgrade your truck for free while you sleep. Let's get into the ones you'll wish you knew sooner. Number 10. The hidden emergency start slot. Most F-150 owners never realize Ford hid a tiny RFID start slot inside the rear cup holder. It sits low enough that you'd never notice it unless someone pointed it out, almost like the spare key you hide under the flower pot at home and forget about until the day you actually need it. But this little slot can save your morning when your key fob dies at the worst possible time. You simply drop the dead fob into the slot and the truck instantly recognizes it, even if the battery inside the fob is completely drained. The truck reads the encrypted chip directly and lets you start the engine as if nothing ever happened. In cold weather, when batteries tend to give up without warning, this becomes a lifesaver. More than a few guys have walked out to the driveway on a bitter January morning, hit the start button, and gotten nothing but silence. That's when this hidden slot earns its keep. Once you know it's there, it becomes one of those quiet features you'll never forget because it bails you out exactly when you need it. And since Ford hid more clever features in places you'd never think to check, it's worth paying attention to these small design touches because they often solve real problems long before they happen. Number 9. Removable cup holders and console pieces. The F-150's interior hides another small but smart trick that most owners overlook, and it starts with the cup holders. These cup holders are fully removable, not just the rubber inserts, but the entire assembly. You can lift them straight out for deep cleaning, which matters more than you'd think if you're a daily coffee drinker or someone who keeps a thermos in the truck on long drives. After a month or two, those cup holders trap dust, dried creamer, spilled soda, and the fine dirt you drag in from job sites or gravel roads. Being able to pull the whole unit out and rinse it in a sink saves time and keeps the cabin from smelling like old coffee. Then, on trucks equipped with the standard bench seat, Ford added a disguised flip-up compartment underneath. It doesn't look like anything special until you lift it and realize it's the perfect spot to tuck away small tools, holsters, a pocket flashlight, or loose items you don't want rolling around. It's discreet, it's quiet, and it keeps your everyday gear within reach without cluttering the main console. This is one of those features you start using once and then can't live without because it finally gives you a place to stash the small stuff that always ends up under the seats. And since Ford hid even more smart storage solutions in the truck, knowing this one makes you appreciate how much thought went into the cabin layout. Number 8. Hidden jack and underseat storage system. Beneath the back seat of the F-150 is a storage system that surprises almost everyone the first time they find it. Once you reach under the seat and pull the concealed latch, the rear seat back drops and exposes the factory jack, the hidden fuel funnel, and a deep storage cavity that goes farther back than it looks. This isn't the shallow kind of storage you see in smaller trucks. This space swallows tow straps, breaker bars, a compact air compressor, emergency gear, and whatever else you want to carry without leaving it visible on the floor. Many owners also use it as a discreet place to hide valuables when they're parked at work or traveling, since nothing is out in the open. Because this area is tucked so far under the seat, someone would have to know exactly where to look to even notice anything was stored there. The organization is clean, simple, and genuinely useful, especially for guys who haul tools or keep emergency supplies on hand. And the fact that Ford paired the jack and funnel with this compartment makes the whole setup feel intentional, like they expected owners to rely on it. Once you discover how much this space holds, you start to wonder why more trucks don't offer the same flexibility. And since Ford tucked away even more emergency features outside the cabin, this hidden storage is only one part of the overall system. Number 7. Fuel door emergency release on Power Boost. On the Power Boost models, Ford hid a manual fuel door release behind the rear inner wheel well, and this little cable can save you from a real headache when the pressurized fuel system refuses to open. If the button stops responding due to a low battery, a glitch, or freezing temperatures, all you have to do is reach behind the liner and pull the cable. It's like having a manual override on a safe. It bypasses the electronic pressure system and pops the fuel door instantly. Anyone who's stood at a gas station trying to open a stuck fuel door knows how frustrating it feels, especially when you're in a rush. This manual release solves that issue in seconds. It also means you don't have to pry the door open or take the truck to a dealer when the system locks up. A lot of owners never learn this cable exists until they stumble onto it by accident or hear it from another truck guy. Once you know where it is though, you'll never forget it because it takes the stress out of fueling, especially on long road trips. And as useful as this emergency feature is, Ford also packed in several convenience features that most owners never bother to explore, which is why the next tip becomes just as important for day-to-day use. Number 6. Global Window Drop. Most F-150 owners never discover that their truck can drop all the windows at once long before they ever climb inside. This feature, called the Global Window Drop, only requires one simple move. You hold the unlock button on the key fob, and after a couple of seconds, the windows roll down together. It feels a little strange the first time you see it because you almost question whether the truck was supposed to do that. But once you understand the purpose, it becomes something you use again and again. On hot American summer days, when the cabin feels like an oven, this trick vents all that trapped heat before you even open the door. The steering wheel stops feeling like a branding iron, and the seats stop burning the back of your legs. It is one of those Ford features that hides in plain sight. And yet, most owners have no idea it exists because no one thinks to hold the unlock button long enough to activate it. Once you know the move, it becomes second nature. It is quick, it is practical, and it saves you from stepping into a blast of heat after work or running errands. And since the truck is full of hidden details like this, Ford followed it with another trick that saves even more frustration, especially for anyone who tows. Before we move on, tap that subscribe button. I've got even more powerful hacks coming up. Number 5. Hidden Camera Hitch Zoom. The F-150's reverse camera has a tiny plus icon in the corner of the display that most owners ignore because it looks like just another button. But when you tap it, the camera zooms directly down onto the hitch ball. Suddenly, the whole screen becomes a clean, tight view of the point where your trailer needs to connect. It makes the process feel almost too easy. If you have ever tried to hook up a trailer alone, you know the familiar shuffle. You back up, stop, get out, check your alignment, get back in, move an inch, get out again, and repeat until everything finally lines up. The first time you use the hitch zoom, it feels like cheating. You tap the icon, glance at the screen, and watch the hitch ball slide right under the coupler on the first try. It feels like the moment when a golfer finally hits a clean drive after years of slicing the ball. Simple, smooth, and strangely satisfying. Ford tucked this tool into the camera system knowing how many owners tow campers, boats, or utility trailers. And since towing often brings its own little headaches, having this feature built into the screen eliminates one of the biggest ones. Of course, the camera is only one part of the story, because Ford also hid several shortcuts inside the truck to fix technology issues without stepping foot in a dealership. Number 4. Sync Hard Reset Shortcut. The sync system in the F-150 is powerful, but like every piece of tech, it has its days. Sometimes the screen freezes, sometimes the audio glitches, sometimes the menus lag like they are stuck in slow motion. Most drivers assume they have to shut the truck down or call the dealership. But there is a faster solution built into the steering wheel. When the system starts acting stubborn, you hold 2 steering wheel buttons at the same time, and the entire sync unit performs a hard reboot. It is the same feeling as resetting a stubborn laptop that refuses to cooperate. Everything goes dark for a moment and then comes back fresh, responsive, and ready to work. The best part is that it does not affect your settings, and you do not lose anything. It simply forces a clean restart that clears the temporary bugs. Once you know this shortcut, those frustrating tech moments disappear in seconds rather than hours. And since Ford knows owners rely on the screen for navigation, towing functions, and entertainment and truck settings, having this built in saves real time. Yet the system goes even deeper. Beneath that clean reboot option, there is another hidden mode that lets you access the kind of menus most owners never see. Number 3. Hidden Diagnostic and Theme Mode for Sync. The deeper hidden mode inside the sync system feels like discovering a secret room behind a bookshelf. By using a specific steering wheel button combination, the screen switches into a quiet diagnostic mode that Ford never advertises. Suddenly, you can change the display theme to Mustang, Raptor, Shelby, or Lincoln, which gives the screen a completely different personality. You can also see system data, test screens, and internal diagnostics. It is the kind of thing only Ford engineers and dealership techs usually see, yet it is sitting right there in your truck if you know how to unlock it. The first time you activate it, you get the same feeling you had as a kid when you found a hidden cheat menu in an old video game. It is fun, surprising, and it makes you appreciate how much capability sits under the surface. You may not use the diagnostics often, but the theme changes alone make the truck feel refreshed. And while these hidden menus are entertaining, they are not the most important secret Ford tucked into the F-150. In fact, the next item deals with a quiet rule that saves owners from expensive mistakes, and it deserves your attention because it prevents real repair bills. Number 2. The emergency glass rule. Ford uses acoustic laminated glass on the windshield and the front windows of the F-150, and most owners never realize how important that is until something goes wrong. This glass is not just thicker, it has a sound-dampening layer in the middle that reduces wind noise and helps the cameras behind the windshield stay perfectly calibrated. When this glass cracks and needs replacement, many owners go straight to a budget shop that installs cheaper non-acoustic glass. It looks the same at first glance, so the shop tells you it will work just fine. But after a few days or weeks, problems start creeping in. The lane assist camera begins drifting out of calibration. The truck throws strange warnings. Highway noise gets louder because the cabin loses that noise-absorbing layer. And in some cases, Ford flags warranty claims because the wrong glass was installed. This tiny detail ends up costing hundreds of dollars in recalibration work, and even more if you have to replace the glass again with the proper factory version. That is why knowing this rule is so important. You save time, money, and frustration by insisting on the correct laminated glass from the start. It is a silent hack because nothing about it looks special, yet it prevents a long list of headaches later on. And now that the serious warning is out of the way, it brings us to the final item on the list. It is not hidden under a seat or inside a cup holder. It is built into the truck's software, and it is the most valuable hack Ford gives you. Number 1. Over-the-air updates. The most powerful hidden feature in the F-150 requires zero tools and zero digging. All it needs is a Wi-Fi connection. When you connect the truck to your home network, the F-150 can download new firmware, driver assist improvements, bug fixes, audio tuning upgrades, and feature refinements the same way a smartphone updates itself. Many owners assume the truck only updates maps or basic navigation data, but Ford actually pushes deeper changes that improve how the truck drives and feels. The problem is that most people never connect their truck to home Wi-Fi. They park, go inside, and never think twice about it. As a result, the truck stays stuck on old software, missing out on upgrades that would make the daily drive smoother and more reliable. Owners who do connect their truck often notice quicker infotainment performance, better adaptive cruise behavior, quieter cabin tuning, and updated compatibility with the Ford Pass app. The best part is that these updates usually happen at night. You park the truck, head to bed, and wake up to a machine that is slightly smarter, slightly more refined, and sometimes noticeably better at the job it was built to do. It is the only hack on this list that does not require you to press anything or lift anything. You simply let the F-150 improve itself while you sleep. And when you stack that with every other hidden trick Ford built into the truck, you realize the F-150 is full of features most owners never tap into even once. Now go check your F-150 and see how many of these hidden features you've been missing. Ford built a lot of smart upgrades into these trucks. Most owners just never discover them. Try a few today and you'll be shocked at how much more your F-150 can actually do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with the features you found. This is Vroom Diagnosis. Drive smart.